Everybody, good morning. Happy Wednesday, August 21st. It's the Plant-Based Morning Show. We are back 2 days in a row. Put a little streak together, but it's going to end today. This is it. We got 2 days in a row this week. Did we have a full week last week, Doug? We did, right? Or was that the off week?
We had a full week last week. Yeah.
We had a full week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. There we go. So we put together a week in almost 2 weeks straight. But now we got a little interruption. We'll be off tomorrow because I'm traveling, and then next week is team trip, and we'll be entirely off for that. I was thinking, this golf trip, I guess it must have been, I guess only 2 full years ago that I stopped on the way up there in order to keep doing the show, so the show is not to miss a day.
Oh,
We were
wow.
that dedicated.
Wow.
Remember that? We were 5 days a week mode, and I remember I pulled over at a gas station. I think it was a gas station. And like set up all my stuff in the car. It was just for cell phones only then. We weren't even on YouTube. I don't think it was just Instagram.
Yeah. Wow.
But that was commitment. That was
and look at us now.
But you know what? We were starting a new thing then. Not only was the enthusiasm very high, we also just wanted to build something.
Yeah.
Know that we were serious. So now we've established that.
Remember that time you were doing one in the car and this guy got in the car or something?
Yeah, down in
or
Florida.
Put the kid in the car or something?
That was so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever talked to that guy. I think I talked to his wife like later that day. That was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good morning to people who are here. Britters, Allie, Brandon Turner, riding that DNC high over here, says Britters. Anne Marie and Kelly K. So far, it's only a few. I bet you we'll get some more check-ins in a minute. I saw DNC was on TV yesterday. Forget what platform I was on, but it was like middle of the day, and I thought that was like a nighttime thing. Everyone after work would go to the party, listen to some speeches, get their drink on a little bit. But did they just do it all day long?
Yeah, I mean it's a convention. They have business they have to take care of. They have to vote on certain things and
so people take off work to go be there all the time.
The delegates. I mean, you have to be appointed as a delegate to have a vote. You can't just show
What about
up.
like random fans? Aren't the people who just go to the convention and hang out? Like randoms get a name tag?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you have to have a pass to get in, but
okay. I thought it was more of a consumer show you just go to.
Oh no. I think it's much more business than that. I mean, you have like half of the most powerful people in the United States there. So
right. It'd be an expensive ticket if it was a consumer show.
Yeah.
All right. British says last night was roll call and it was straight fire. I don't even know what that means. What roll call?
Every state went through and pledged their delegates to Kamala and Walz. And
Waltz? Like
Walz.
dance?
Jim Walz, the VP nominee.
Oh, I think they had to come up and do a dance, like a waltz.
The waltz.
I really thought that's what you meant. Because I don't know what goes on. I don't know how much fun they have at these things and how much is just like boring talks. I thought maybe they had.
Yeah, the roll call was pretty fun. Every state kind of went through and they did, they had fun with it. It was good.
Good.
Yeah, the Obama spoke last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them did. Very, very good speeches. But we're not here to talk about that.
We're not. But we do it. We have a political thing today. Should we tax ultra processed foods? That's a big, serious, weighty conversation to be had. Which is why I feel like it's okay that we're talking politics. But I know, Doug, you get uncomfortable when we start doing political talk here.
I mean, I could talk about the DNC all day if we want to go down that route.
I think it's too boring.
I did. I have been waiting for the news about whether the DNC has as much vegan food as the RNC had.
Yeah, right. Now there's this bar to meet.
Whether the RNC is now the new woke.
That would be funny.
The new woke party forcing vegan food down people's throats.
I mean, it's not like the party's not so wrapped up with plant-based stuff that it would be like taboo to have a real barbecue place at the DNC,
definitely.
Would it?
No, not even close. No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, some more people have come in. Let's quickly run down. Garuda Legends is here, who says, vegan or not, y'all two beautiful people. So I guess he's talking about us. I don't know. Maybe I hope it means everyone here because I think everyone here is a beautiful person. But vegan or not, I don't know if that means like you wouldn't expect that from vegans. So, but vegan or not, that y'all two beautiful. So very nice. Good. Thank you for Garuda. Scott Mulholland, John Zook, our new I don't know what's the title we'd give someone who's like the new hot commenter. John Zook, always showing up, always commenting. And I think that's everybody. Phyllis Hauser as well is here. Okay, so what do we got, Doug? Anything? We got some jam-packed weather report. We got this topic about taxing ultra-processed foods. Keep in mind, ultra-processed foods includes, by a lot of definitions, the plant-based meats. So that's the interesting part of that discussion. But what about anything else? What's going on, Doug? Anything else in your life?
First day of school for my daughter today.
That's right. Yep. Good. Exciting.
And
what grade?
She requested a salad in her lunch, which she's gotten really into salads this summer, like green lettuce salads.
Right. That's nice.
And she requested one for lunch, and I felt a little bit weird packing it. Honestly, I was like, "You're gonna be the salad vegan kid,"
Right.
But I mean, that's great. It's awesome.
That's good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And what grade and what school and what address, what classroom, all that stuff, and exact name?
Second grade. That's as far as we'll go.
Okay. Okay, that's exciting. Second grade is a fun time. I have good memories of that grade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Good. All right. You still riding the plant stock high? Are you doing? Are you oil-free vegan now?
I am not oil-free vegan.
No.
Yeah, riding the plant stock high, carried it into the DNC high. I'm feeling real good. Good vibes all around. All these festivals, all these events, I'm loving it. So.
Right.
No. It didn't convince me at all that I should be oil-free. It didn't.
No.
It didn't.
Did they try though? Did they say, "Oh, that oil is so gross"? Who wants that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they talked a lot about their pillars and philosophy, and
I know, but did they call it gross? Did they say, "Who wants it anyway"? It's not even good. It's gross. Sometimes they did that. They do that. Maybe not the plant stock crew, but people.
Yeah, I mean, no. Didn't try to say it's gross, but much more like like why would you want that when you can eat all this other food for the same amount of calories and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. No.
Called it weird. No,
Did they mention the recent research? Not even that recent about the arterial health and the positive research.
No, there was no research. No positive.
Funny people will just pick a side and then ignore the evidence on the other side, right? I mean, vegans do it against non-vegans. Non-vegans do it against vegans. It's people get into something and then they don't want to have a discussion. They just want to talk about their side. But whatever, I get it. Like I said, everyone does.
I took Michael, our colleague, over to Dough House, which is the vegan donut shop here in town.
Yep.
And we went Saturday and Friday. We were just because their philosophy, or not philosophy, what they do is they make everything to order, and they open at 8 and they go till they run out. So that sometimes that's like noon, sometimes it's 2, whatever. And I was talking to them, and they said they ran out at 10 a.m. on Friday, which is way early, especially for like a non-Sunday. And it was the day the plant stock started. And I wondered if there was a bunch of plant stock people going to get their last oil fix before
That's
they.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very possible. How many people were at that event?
There were like 300.
A couple hundred. Pretty big event for a small town, right?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people descending on the city.
A lot of vegans. Yeah, I was telling Eliza about my daughter about the event, and she was like, "There are 300 vegans in Black Mountain right now."
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
concentration. Yeah. All right. Garuda says it has a little political commentary. I don't care who president. Processed food is unhealthy. Agreed. Totally agreed. John Zook says I love olive oil. Also agree with that. Although I guess I do maybe a little care who's president. I don't know. I'm not going to get into this, but I might have some preference sometimes.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's only natural to have that.
Right, I think so. Garuda says, I want to live in a world where vegans and meat eaters can eat food away from the pharmaceutical market. Amen. I think we can all agree with that, right? And look at that. Garuda, the one who comes in here and everyone says stirs up trouble. It just is saying the real truth here, that if we could all just eat non-processed food, we'd be doing a little better, I think.
Or choose to eat some processed food if we want to, right?
Yeah, but you can eat food. It's easy to eat away from that. And that's the problem. A lot of the default choices
that's right.
These days, because of a lot of forces and factors, money being one of the big ones, push us away from that. Make it hard to eat whole food all the time. Anyway, all right. let's see. So that's a good update. I don't think I have really too much. Nothing that eventful happened to me yesterday. So we'll jump into our show here. Like I said,
Yeah,
we got a bunch of stuff, so we'll jump in. All right, here we go. There's the music. Week or two ago, we talked about this possible benefit for diabetes risk of eating plant oils over animal fats, which is a little bit contrary to the recent tide, I guess. Like a lot of anti-seed oil and all that stuff. Well, now there's a new one in the Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine, big journal, peer-reviewed, all that. Study of 400,000 adults followed for more than 2 decades. So I believe this is that, I think it's Biobank that they're using. But what they found is that compared with those eating the lowest amount of plant-based fats, those with the highest had 9% lower risk of dying from any cause and a 14% lower risk of dying from heart disease, particularly. And there was particular emphasis on grains and vegetable oils. So if you were eating the highest amount of oils, especially from grains and vegetable oils, you got that much reduction compared to the lowest amounts.
So another positive for plant oils.
Yeah, over animal fats. But so they kind of put some cautions in here. There are some more stats. Let me give you the rest of the details, and then I'll tell you what relates exactly to that. They said, on the other hand, getting more fats from animal sources like meat, dairy, and eggs was associated with higher mortality risks. Those eating the most animal fats had a 16% higher risk of overall mortality and a 14% higher risk of dying from heart disease. But then the limitations, the big one, this is just an observational study. This is not clinical trial. So if you were eating more animal fats, you were also eating more animal protein. I mean, they didn't say this, but I'm just assuming you were also eating more animal protein generally. And if you were eating more plant fats, you were also eating more, of the phytonutrients and things that are in plants. So there's other stuff at play here, right? It's not just the fats that are the cause of this, but that was what they measured, and that's what they're drawing conclusions based on. So you get a ton of, and then all the other stuff, right? Are the people choosing one of these diets tending to be the healthier people? Like maybe the time period this was over was while plant-based was popular, and people who were choosing plant-based diets tended to be the ones who were health conscious anyway and exercise. All that is in here, I believe. I don't think there's controlling for that kind of stuff. So who knows? The researchers themselves said the effect sizes of the observed risk estimates were small. And I don't really understand what exactly that means. But I do know that these things where they say the lowest group, like the lowest fifth of people compared to the highest group, it always seems like a weird way of reporting information to me. Like, yeah. I just want to know, like, compared to the average. Somehow when you compare yourself to the very worst, it seems like it's easy to inflate things. And I don't think they were trying to inflate things. I think it just for whatever reason, we see that all the time now. The highest amount versus the lowest amount and what happened. So there you go. There's your serious note to begin the weather report.
Well, I mean, but yeah, there are some limitations here. It sounds like it's not a slam dunk, but again, it's kind of it counters a lot of the current narrative, right?
The recent popular stuff, yes. And this again in JAMA Internal Medicine, large study. So this is a good thing for plant-based. Okay, next up. Now it gets a little wacky. Plant-based pet food brand Wild Earth has announced the launch of what they call the first nutritionally complete vegan cat food. That so far so good, interesting, controversial. Yeah, seems like that's enough to sell your product, or at least get attention. But they called it Unicorn Pate, and the picture on the front is a cat with like the can of food on its head. That would be where the unicorn's horn is. And the fonts are strange. It says food for cats on it. It doesn't say cat food. So it seems like they kind of like, I don't know, taking a page out of the Oatly book here. Where like you got a product and then you put this other layer on top of marketing that may or may not be good. I don't really know. But this thing's got lentils, peas, sweet potatoes, marine microalgae for those fats, just like Compliment has marine microalgae in it, with added vitamins and minerals. The wet food exceeds the requirements of AAFCO, which is an independent organization that sets standards for this kind of stuff. And unlike dogs, they point out here in Veg Economist, unlike dogs, cats are considered to be obligate carnivores. So they need taurine, which is not, cats can't produce it themselves, must get it from their food. So unicorn pate, gets this in there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I can't say I'm sold yet on plant-based cat food, but I'm glad to hear this. Like,
It looks kind of jokey, right? I
it
mean,
does look jokey. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like quite the right branding. Like I said, like it seems like you already get the wow factor, the fact that it's pet food or vegan food for
mhm.
cats. I would think what you kind of want to do then is pile on as much trust signals as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Have it be like kind of sciencey and
Yeah,
really
put like a
like,
lab coat guy on there, or woman, and saying the perfect food for cats or everything cats need. Instead, they called it unicorn pate and showed this goofy stuff.
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting choice.
Yeah,
But
we'll see. Oatly-esque move is what it is.
is the rest of their branding like that? I didn't even look. I don't think so.
I'm
Right?
not sure. I don't even know if they have other food. I mean, I guess they probably do because they're called pet food company, so maybe. All right, John Zuck wants to know: do they have arachidonic acid in there? That's what the cats need. They can't produce that either from the plant fats like we can. So I guess people can synthesize that, but cats cannot. Yeah, I mean, we could check. You can go to vegeconomist.com, although you may need a subscription to view this. I think you can view this without a subscription. A couple articles. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not. I don't know. We have a cat, and I wouldn't immediately switch to vegan food just yet. I do want to see. I'd just like a few years of this working in the real world, rather than someone telling me this works. But I don't know. That's call me old fashioned.
You need to live a little, Matt. You need to.
Yeah, but I love animals. I don't want to risk my cat's health.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right? I mean, I don't know.
Look at their dog food branding. See that looks way more like
Traditional.
company
Yeah.
good touch.
Yeah. Why pick this product to do the wacky branding with?
I don't know, like that, like a cat with
Right. Some greens.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I like that better. And Britters, I think, says, "Holy crap, that's expensive cat food." I didn't see the price.
I didn't either. Yeah.
But that's the other thing that would prevent me from jumping onto this just yet. All right, up next. If you're planning to visit Coney Island this weekend, and who isn't, Doug? Who's not planning to do that?
I'm gonna
Keep
be
an
there.
eye out for
I'm gonna
free
be
vegan
riding the
hot
Ferris
dogs.
wheel. I'm gonna be. What else do you do at Coney Island?
I don't know. There's Nathan's famous hot dog stand. As I was reading this, I was thinking I need to go to Coney Island. It's like this huge piece of Americana. I think that kind of, if you're an American, you should go there. You should have gone there. It's probably past its heyday, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know. Like, it's a boardwalk. What is it on? What water? The Atlantic Ocean or some kind of bay? People go to the beach in New York and New Jersey. I guess they do.
It's New York City. It's so it would be.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, is it on the river or is it on the? I don't know. Is it considered the?
What's the river there? Charles? No, Charles is Boston.
No, Hudson. Right?
Hudson. Yeah, the Hudson. I don't know. Anyway, we didn't get to the punchline yet. Free vegan hot dogs. Plants on Wheels is doing it. They're giving away Impossible dogs. So now here's a way to get that Impossible hot dog if you want.
Oh, wow. Really?
Well, I think they're giving away. Yeah, they're giving away Impossible Foods hot dogs. They're free. So this is your road trip opportunity.
Yeah.
It's this weekend, though. You got to get up there quick.
Okay.
Sunday, 1 to 2 p.m. if you're in the area or if you're planning to visit Coney Island.
Only for an hour?
Only an hour. Yeah, I've only got 200 of these. They're loaded, though. Loaded dogs. I don't know what, but accompanying signage. Man, they should have put this money instead of like into this PR. They should have just have more hot dogs.
Yeah, no kidding. 200 hot dogs? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not much.
No.
But maybe people don't, maybe like normal passersby aren't going to like go for Impossible dogs that much. I still think they will. People like free food.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're doing it because of the Joey Chestnut thing. That's well, maybe. It says it's a timely backdrop for their mission to introduce Nathan's fans to sustainable animal-free alternatives. Their Larry Katz of Plants on Wheels, said there's no intention to antagonize Nathan's, but they want to show people that they can enjoy the taste and texture of meat without animals. So there you go. Good work being done by Plants on Wheels.
They
all right, up next.
Just for the record, Coney Island Beach does open you up to the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh yeah, okay. And it has a Ferris wheel. Have you been there before?
No.
I would assume it has lots of carnival games, throw darts at balloons.
Oh, yeah, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
Like basketball hoops that are a foot taller than they're
Right.
supposed to
All
be.
kinds of rigged games that you can't beat.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's no laws preventing it over there. It's still
Just total
Wild
chaos.
West sort of situation.
Like room of weird, wacky mirrors, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. I hope so. I hope that's what Coney Island is. I hope there are no safety regulations or anything. It's just all old rusty rides. Just a classic place.
And then a vegan hot dog stand.
Yeah.
For 1 hour.
Yep. All right. Up next, the Olympics, of course, had the big controversy around the food. They went 60% plant-based, and there was a backlash. And they actually kind of U-turned. They brought in a bunch of eggs and meats and things and made some statements saying this was kind of a mistake or we didn't foresee this. We didn't talk about that because we were off that week, I think, when most of that news was out. But it's kind of interesting how they did that. But anyway, the U.S. Open, the tennis tournament, which is in New York City, they've joined Mayor Adams's challenge that I guess is for New York City as a whole to reduce food-related emissions by 25% by the year 2030. So U.S. Open is increasing their vegan options. And they've said by the end of the decade, they want to curb its food-related emissions by 25%. So that's exactly in line with the New York City thing that they're going for, their goal. And that was the Plant-Powered Carbon Challenge, which Eric Adams announced in April. First sports entity to sign on with this thing. And they've been getting 1 in 5 dishes at the U.S. Open has been meat-free already. So that's already pretty good, assuming they mean main dishes.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know what they need to get up to for that to get up to this carbon emission benchmark. But they've been sourcing 30% of their produce and ingredients locally, 18% vegetarian options, 3% vegan. So they haven't yet said what the new numbers are. Are you going to watch this tennis, Doug, now that you know about this plant-based initiative?
100%, yeah.
Are you into
Open?
tennis?
Have you ever been to a tennis tournament?
Never. Have you?
I have, yeah. In
Yeah.
DC. So it wasn't like US Open. It wasn't one of the big 5 or whatever they are. But
The
yeah,
main
there
ones.
were like some stars there, and
Yeah.
went and had a beer and sat up.
That's cool.
In the nosebleeds. It was fun.
Is it like all prim and proper kind of vibe, like Wimbledon? Or is that just...
No, it wasn't prim and proper, but everybody's, quiet, during the
Mhm.
match and stuff, and then you
Mhm.
cheer. So there's definitely some cultural rules.
Right. Is it good? Is tennis a good sport to watch live, or can you like not see the ball and can't keep
Yeah, no, it was good. At least at this stadium, it wasn't that big, so.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah.
I need to do that one day. All right. And last but not least here, there's a new term. We've been using things like flexitarian, of course, plant-based, omnivore. We have these terms that I think they're kind of, and partly they're useful, practical terms. Partly they're for marketers and sellers of food to identify these customer segments. They've got a new one, and it is called open omnivore. And open omnivore, they say, will be like a flexitarian in the future. But rather than eating a diet consisting of mostly plant-based, they will consume from a diverse range of segments, including meat, but will be willing to lean into plant-based products to reduce their meat consumption.
How is that different from flexitarian? What am I missing about flexitarian?
I think here's another. I think they are future flexitarians. So it says we've defined, and I think this is some consultant who made this up. I don't really know. Plant Futures founder Indy Cower is the one speaking here. He says, I think it's he. Where is it? Sorry. We've defined open omnivores as consumers open to eating plant-based meats, but haven't done it yet. They're future flexitarians, and it's a sizable group of around 30% of the UK population.
What does that mean? Future flexitarian? I'm so against this. We're overcomplicating everything. We're trying to identify people that eat a little bit of vegetables instead of fruit, or instead of meat.
I don't even know if they do yet. They're omnivores right now.
And they're open to the idea.
Yes. There's a good chance that in the future, they have aspirations of eating some of these plant-based meats and becoming a flexitarian, but they just haven't done it.
We got to target them, convince them to become flexitarian.
Exactly. I think that's the usefulness of this category. Is that
all right. So this isn't a diet. It's people who are open to a diet.
Yes, it's not. That's right. It's not a diet. It's just a person's mindset.
Okay. I don't
I think
Okay.
plant curious omnivore would be an equal term.
Yeah.
Someone who's currently
right.
not plant curious, not a flexitarian. They eat mostly meats, or the normal amount of meat, and they're open to the idea of eating less. But 30%,
I'm open to a lot of things that I'm not.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't really mean
Like
a whole lot to
I'm
people.
open to watching the U.S. Open, but I'm probably not going to.
Yeah,
I'm open to being your friend, but let's face it, I'm mostly your colleague.
right. Yeah, I will maintain the option. I'll keep the option open of these things.
Yeah.
I'll collect a lot of options in my life. That's my goal. I have a lot of options.
You're
Open
gonna be the
everything.
guy that once already the internet, whoever has all this information on us, and you're gonna be in the open category for everything. Like
Yeah, right.
open for voting multiple different ways, open for
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
eating a little fish here and there. No, just kidding.
All
No,
right.
I didn't mean that. Open for
I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
I said open for eating fish here and there.
Oh, no, I'm not that. No, you're not that. But I always still think about the bi-val vegan thing. I think this is such an interesting thing. And I just saw it again.
I met one.
Oh, did you at the thing?
In the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they say? Were they at Plantstock? Like, did they defend it? Did they give good reasons for it?
No, it was just somebody I was talking to last week, and well, he's like, I don't ever eat them except when I'm at a restaurant where like the vegan option is a plate of vegetables, steamed
Right.
vegetables, something like that. He's like, I would rather have a good meal of mussels and oysters or whatever, and not oysters. I don't know, whatever. I'd rather have a meal of that than the steamed vegetables.
Yeah, I had that experience like, I don't know, 2 summers, maybe 1 summer ago. I was at a soccer tournament thing, and it might have been Myrtle Beach. And I remember just like looking at the menu, and we ate just such junk, fries and something else, maybe a salad with it. I don't know. But I was thinking, like, there are moments where we're having a very strict vegan diet makes you make what I think is a less healthy choice than something else. And I think what I was comparing it to on the menu was shrimp or something, where I was thinking, that wouldn't be that unhealthy to have that on a salad. That maybe a healthier lunch than what I'm eating. And I don't know. But yeah, that's the thing. If you can, again, you got to get past the ethical part. Garuda says he says bivalve, but he means bivalve is not vegan. Yeah, so calling it bivalve vegan is a misleading term to me. It just doesn't. Vegan means you don't eat animals. But if you get, I guess if you believe that they don't feel pain and that they're animals, but the animal distinction isn't what's important. It's rather the suffering distinction, and that's what Peter Singer, by the way, author of what was the famous book? Animal Liberation. Apparently, in like the very early versions of that, he said that he ate the bivalve still. Anyway, so I do think it's an interesting thing. I've never met one in person, so it's interesting that you did, and that they'd be at an event like that. I guess it
wasn't a Plantstock. It was just randomly. It came up that
okay.
We were talking about what I do, and
Gotcha.
it was just part of a conversation.
Gotcha. Look at this. Race Lever and Garuda, who've been fighting all day, now agree on that exact thing. There's no such thing as a bivalve vegan. LOL, vegans don't.
Plant-based morning show. We're bringing people together.
That's right. That's what we do. I mean, that's what we did. Well, we try to do that anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Last up. No, that was the last up. That's the open omnivore discussion. Which brings us to the main topic. Brits want a UPF tax, but we need to exclude plant-based meats, says the article from greenqueen.com. And as I was reading this, it struck me. Green Queen always has, to me, good takes. Some of them, I mean, they have a plant slant. They want the plant-based side to win, and that's a lot of outlets have a slant one way or the other. So I wouldn't say like you read it and it's completely, balanced neither side, but they just have good discussions about things. I always find their articles, have good substance to them and well thought out, and I like them. So good job, Green Queen. We don't give them enough credit, I don't think.
Do you think this is a good take? I thought you were going to set this up as a bad take.
No, I'm not. I don't quite know where I stand. I sort of know where I stand, but I don't have a good solution. So here, the headline from Green Queen: 53% of Brits want taxes on ultra-processed foods, but separating them from plant-based is crucial. And I mean, that tells you mostly what you need to know. It's not that the people who have been surveyed, the 53% that want taxes on UPFs, it's not that they say separating them from plant-based is crucial. They say, yes, there should be taxes on UPFs, because of what we know in general about the category of foods, that it is perhaps, in many people's view, like the reason our people are unhealthy these days is from eating too much UPFs. The interesting part of the discussion, of course, is, but what about the foods that are categorized as UPF, which has a kind of a weird, loose definition? A lot of it just involving, like, is the food made for being sold at a profit, like, versus made at home? It's not like based on what's the nutrition in the food. But there are UPFs that are sort of healthy. For example, they mentioned in this Green Queen article, they say one widely cited review linked UPFs to 32 harmful health effects. But many other UPFs, like cereals, dark or whole grain bread, packaged sweet and savory snacks, fruit-based products, and yogurt and dairy-based desserts, were inversely associated with ill health in the same study. So those things were I guess, associated with positive health. And many of these are technically plant-based, not all of them. I'm a little confused by that line because I don't understand how the packaged sweet and savory snacks, I guess some of those could be fine. Dairy-based desserts. I mean, dessert just seems like, how's that going to be healthy? But we're inversely associated with
I'd be surprised if they weren't a UPF.
They are. These are UPFs.
Oh.
So they're talking about cereals. Like a lot of the cereals you buy, and I don't think they mean, junk food, kids breakfast cereal, but like cereal, even some cereal grains, because of what they're fortified with or how they're made. Maybe they are talking about breakfast cereals. I don't really know. But they mentioned dark or whole grain bread, right? You can find whole wheat breads. It's very difficult to find any kind of bread that is not UPF under most of these UPF definitions. There's just so much in the supermarket breads that even if you get the ones that, have a lot of things that appear to be healthy about them, they're still UPF by definition. Just because in order to last on a supermarket shelf, they have to have some extra stuff put in there. So that's the big question. Chris Van Tulliken, who wrote Ultra Processed People, that's a book that I read a couple summers ago and thought it was very good, introduced me to a lot of the nuances of ultra processed food. His take is we can regulate individual products much more effectively than we can, the whole category. So, and he's definitely, against ultra processed foods in general. He blames them for a lot of problems. And he's even arguing that regulating individual products might be better than the whole category.
So he's arguing against the tax, or is that just separate?
That's a good question. I don't know about that. It kind of sounds like he is arguing against the tax, but I think, you could say we have a list of products that are taxed this way, but it doesn't necessarily mean all UPFs. It's certain ones based on some more nuanced information, like what's in the products, or if they've been studied, what they do to your health. And here's where perhaps the plant-based meat analogs would be be exceptions to this tax. If the person regulating this, making the laws, agrees that they are healthier than the alternative. And that's the question, right? They are technically UPFs. I'm not even convinced they're healthy for you, but are they healthier than processed red meat? I think so. It's hard for me to be convinced that a plant-based hot dog made out of basically just tofu, for example, one like that, is not healthier for you than a regular hot dog. Because that's processed meat known to be a carcinogen. I'm not talking about unprocessed red meat, which is a little more controversial. I'm talking about processed hot dogs, for example, which is known to be bad for you.
Right.
And the plant-based version is better. So if you tax the plant-based version, I guess you're also taxing the hot dog in that case because that's a UPF.
Yeah, you're taxing both. Sure.
Yeah, so that's true. Things like red meat, like I said, controversial. When you're comparing Beyond Burgers to regular red meat, then it's like, you're going to tax the Beyond Burgers so that people instead choose the regular meat because they're incentivized to do so. And you get into questions. And but that's not necessarily a problem depending on who you ask. Some people will say the red meat burger is definitely healthier for you than a processed fake burger. I mean, a lot of people say that.
Garuda says that.
Garuda says that for sure. But a lot of people think if it's not processed red meat, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And there's some data to suggest that, but there's also some to suggest that it is.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's really tricky because my gut reaction was that this isn't a very good take.
What, that we should exclude the plant-based?
Yeah, the
Mhm.
process is processed, and because the tax goes towards subsidizing, I think, or helping uh, promote fruits and vegetables like whole
It
grain.
helps the National Health Service, who apparently needs money in the UK, and I'm sure what they're doing is promoting food science, probably with some companies that want their way as well. But
Um, uh, well, anyway, I'm gonna look it up because I think it said what the tax would go to, but
okay,
but anyway, what I was gonna say was like, if it's promoting Whole Foods, encouraging Whole Foods, like that's a good thing, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The problem is that you would really have to get a very clear definition of what a UPF is,
right.
and tofu or tempeh should not be included in that, for example.
Right. And there's a line, which I'm sure you're referring to here. They said, according to the Imperial College / Sao Paulo research, and that's where this all was born, this UPF classification. They've got this 4-category NOVA system, they call it. According to that research, beer, wine, pasta, cereals, table sugar, and cheese are all non-UPFs. They are processed in some way, but they're not ultra processed because they're made in traditional ways or can be made in traditional ways, right? Like table sugar sounds crazy, but if that's something people have been doing forever, getting sugar out of sugarcane, then it's hard for that to be considered a UPF.
Right.
But tofu, made in a similar manner to many cheeses, they say, somehow was deemed ultra processed. So, like,
Yeah.
no matter how you do it, though, there's going to be weird exceptions, right? Unless you drill down and say on the individual food level, we're looking at what's inside these foods, and we're looking at whatever data there is about what these foods do to health, and then we're deciding each one here and there. Maybe once you did that, you'd have 2 categories of this is bad, this is not so bad. And then you could create some definition from those categories that actually matches it pretty well. But it sounds pretty hard to me.
And also, like, who's regulating that? I mean, do they every single new product that comes in, they have to get a stamp of ultra processed or not?
Right. And they're not going to go do studies on every food.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's why I was saying, like, that's my take, but I don't have a way to implement that. It just sounds impractical, right? We're like,
Yeah. So I found what I was looking for, and I had misread it. So it's the study that says this. So 58% support a tax on foods that are high in sugar and salt, as long as some of the revenues helps provide fresh produce for low income households. So that's what I was thinking. But
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm sure people could argue about this. I don't think you and I are going to argue much about it because we kind of agree that it's a challenging thing. All right, let's hit a couple comments here. Garuda says fake meat is not a whole food. I think we all can agree with that. The question is whether it is unhealthy, and that's the trickier one. Race Lover says, yay, Matt gets 1 point. Although all vegan meats are not healthy, they are still in general healthier than animal meat. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Yeah, depends what you're talking about with animal meat. If you're talking about fish and stuff like that, and I don't know, then I wonder. But red meat, I'd say, yeah, generally the plant-based products better. All right, John Zook says, it's been impossible to stop making their light burgers. It had 1 gram saturated fat. I don't know, but I don't think so. And Beyond started making all theirs that way now with much lower saturated fat. I don't think they're light. I think they still have plenty of calories. But no, I didn't hear that Impossible stopped making that one. All right, and then we got accusations of Garuda lying and fighting between Race Lever and Garuda. That's the rest of the comments, which happens a lot.
A ton of comments today, but
it's too bad. I mean, it always goes that direction. Even though Garuda started it out with a nice unifying statement.
British here says that there are just too many food deserts, and I mean that's true. Like here in the United States, we would have to significantly change the food system. I mean, this would be an inequitable tax, right? We'd be taxing.
Right. A lot of people subsist on
ultra processed foods
because they have to, because it's the cheapest.
Because it's the cheapest, and therefore we'd be taxing most of, disproportionately taxing our low income households.
Right. A lot of the food being bought with food stamps would then be subject to extra tax.
That's right.
Which is backwards. But I mean, what are you gonna? It's not like. Well, I don't know. Like we see that that's broken, but how do we fix it? You make it non-food deserts. You put more food, but then that's a massive undertaking, right?
Yeah, right.
Figure that.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Good. Well, I promise you a good show today. I think this was a good one. I think it was a good a topic that was not as dumb as Newsweek, man and sons cheat on the vegetarian religious wife. Feel a little bit better about myself today talking about that, what we did, than that.
Yep,
And
for sure.
So, successful week for the Plant-Based Morning Show.
A successful 2-day week. Matt, I hope your trip goes well, and I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. I got to respond to this one. Ray Sever says, Matt, did you honestly just pretend Garuda is here to unify? Get real, bro. No, I did not pretend that. That was a joke. At the beginning, I was happy that Garuda wrote that statement. But no, I'm not pretending. I understand the nature of Garuda, his stance versus everyone else's. And I did not expect any different than usual, which is when we talk about these topics, it turns into arguing between Garuda and everyone else. So I did not honestly pretend that. Okay. Thank you, Doug, for the well wishes on the golf trip. Hope everyone.
Hope you hit long. Hope you hit straight. Hope you have some beers.
We'll see. I'll do that part. I'll hit a few long. Problem is, I will not hit too many straight. Yeah. I'll go through a period where I go 1 or 2 rounds out of the 5, and I cannot keep it out of the left woods. That's what happens.
How many balls do you think you go through?
The round at the end, the last round of the thing, I think I usually lose 15 to 20 balls.
What?
It's a tight links course, and it's just by that point in the weekend, if I've been driving well somehow, it's gone by that point, and it's a 2-man scramble, so you're taking some wild shots if your partner hits a nice ball.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fair.
But yeah, I get the cheap balls for that exact round. So yeah. I don't know, the whole weekend, 2 dozen, no, more than that. Yeah, maybe 2 dozen balls. I'll keep it under for the weekend. That'd be a good goal.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck.
I'll keep count this time. I'll tell you. At the end.
Keep count, and maybe we should have a little wager at the Plant-Based Morning Show in the Discord. If you want to guess how many balls Matt's going to lose, maybe we'll give away a bag of Compliment protein or something.
There we go. That'd be good. All right, sounds good. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please smash the like button. Kate has reminded me to say. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All those things. Leave comments like you do, and appreciate it.
Leave real comments too, not just the live ones. All right.
Yeah, right. Go to the main comment section of YouTube and leave. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much.